Well, good morning. Let us go for the paper number 2, unit number 1. From that 1 years we have completed. Now, as per our title of first unit, solution of algebraic and transcendental equation. Actually, now here in this lecture, we will go for the solution of algebraic and transcendental equation. First of all, introduction of algebraic and transcendental equation. It means that what do you mean by algebraic equation? What do you mean by transcendental equation? And whenever we have to solve the algebraic or transcendental equation, what we require or prerequisites of algebraic and transcendental equation, these things we are going to learn in today's lecture. Okay. Now, therefore, let us go for this one, solution of algebraic and transcendental equation, introduction. Okay. Now, in the introduction, just now what you have here, suppose we have equation fx is equal to 0. This is what we have the equation. Okay. Now, here, if fx is linear, okay, quadratic, biquadratic, then we have some of the methods, or there are methods to solve such type of equations. Okay, if fx is linear, quadratic, biquadratic, even what you can have here, cubic. Okay, then the methods, algebraic methods are available to solve such type of equations. Okay, to solve such equations means to find out roots of these equations. Okay, but whenever this fx involves or fx is of higher degree, this fx is of what? Higher degree. Okay, then I mean what? Then biquadratic, this is linear, quadratic, cubic, biquadratic means what? Higher than biquadratic, or higher than 4. Then algebraic methods are not available. Again, okay, is of higher degree, is of, this is first way. And the second thing, if this fx involves okay, some trigonometric functions, if fx involves trigonometric functions, okay, trigonometric functions, then what you can have exponential function, exponential functions, okay, and then power function, okay, trigonometric functions, exponential functions, power functions, or we don't consider power function here. Let us have here logarithmic function. Okay, then again the methods, I mean algebraic methods. These algebraic methods are not available to solve equation fx is equal to 0. Okay, in such cases, we need to what? Go or consider for numerical methods. Okay, we need to consider the numerical methods, right? To solve such type of equations. Okay, this is what our aim to learn here to solve particularly if fx is of degree higher than 4 or greater than 4 and if it involves trigonometric exponential logarithmic functions. Of course, if fx involves trigonometry, exponential or logarithmic functions, then it is known as what? Transcendental equation. Okay? Whenever fx is equal to 0 or fx involves trigonometric function or exponential function or logarithmic function, then it is known as, means that equation is known as what? Transcendental equation. Okay, here again you can have here pi function. Okay, pi function. If it involves pi function again, then such type of equations are known as what? Transcendental equations. Okay. Now, even though the thing is here that even though we are saying that numerical methods are available, one thing as we have considered here very first point error there. What is the use of error? Okay. At that time we have learned that we are going to minimize the error after all. Hence, in numerical methods, error occur. Okay. And therefore, whenever error occur, you will get numerical methods. What you get? Nothing but what? Approximate solution. Okay. Approximate solutions we are getting here. By numerical methods, we are getting approximate solutions for such algebraic and transcendental equations. Okay. These things we need to keep in mind that what do we mean by transcendental equation? Transcendental equation is nothing but what? Whenever a fx involves trigonometric function or exponential function, logarithmic or pi function, then it is known as what? Transcendental equation. Okay. Now let us go for these two definitions clearly, and then we will go for the next point. Okay. Let us have definition. An expression of the form fx is equal to let me write here a naught x to the power n plus a1 x to the power n minus 1 plus a2 x to the power n minus 2 plus so on. Okay, a n minus 1 x plus a n. Okay, where a naught, a1, a2, so on, an are constants, and what is happening here? A should not be 0. There is a restriction. Okay, a0, a1 into an are constants, and the coefficients of x to the power n, x to the power n minus 1, so on, what? X are, and here x to the power 0 are one constant, and one more restriction is that a0 should not be 0, and the coefficient of x to the power n not 0. Okay, a constants, and okay, n is what? Positive integer. N is positive integer, then okay, then what is happening? If this is there, then it is called, a polynomial. It is called a polynomial of degree, okay, n. It's a polynomial of degree n. Fx is equal to what? A0 x to the power n plus a1 x to the power n minus 1 plus a2 x to the power n minus 2 plus so on, n minus 1 x plus an, where all these coefficients a0, a1, a2, an are what? Are constants, and a0 not equal to 0, along with n is a positive integer, then it is called a polynomial of degree n. Okay. Okay. A polynomial of degree n in, let me write in x, because we have used x as a variable. Okay. Next thing is that if I equate this polynomial to be 0, okay, the polynomial equation or the polynomial fx is equal to 0 is called, this is called an algebraic equation. This is an algebraic equation, of course, of degree, okay, n, of degree n. If I have this as a polynomial of degree n, where a not all the coefficients are constant, so that coefficient of the highest power of x is not 0 and is a positive integer, then it is called a polynomial of degree n in x. And if I equate to 0, then it is called as an algebraic equation of degree n. Okay. Now, what will be the solution of this equation? The value of x, okay, as this is a polynomial in x, and if I find out value of x, okay, the value of x for which okay, fx is equal to 0, okay, is called, it is called a root. It is called a root or 0 of what? It is called the root of or 0 of fx. Okay. It is called root or 0 of fx. Well, now the value of x for which this is called a root or 0. Let me write, underline this word here, 0 of fx, right? And next, the process of finding the roots or root is called, it is called what? Solution of the equation. This is what we have, the definition in general. What is a solution of an equation? Okay. The process of finding the root is called as a solution. Okay. So solution, okay, let me write of what? Of, okay, that equation. This is what we have, definition of solution of the equation. Well, now for the purpose of getting the root or 0 of the polynomial, we need some of the prerequisites, what we call it, those one. Okay, that what is it? One. It is nothing but the theorem which we call it one, and it is nothing but location of root theorem. Okay, actually, we have learned this theorem in first year BSc. Location of root theorem, or in first year BSc, this theorem we have considered in terms of intermediate value theorem. Okay. Therefore, what the theorem is? What is the statement? This statement is useful to solve algebraic as well as one transcendental equation, and this is the initial okay, process or initial step to go for the solution of transcendental and algebraic equations. Okay, therefore you should know the theorem very well. Okay, what is it? If fx is continuous function, fx is continuous function in closed interval AB. Okay, that is what? How will you write closed interval AB? A is less than or equal to, is less than or equal to B. This is what we have here, and all of us know that interval is a set. Okay, if fx is continuous function in closed interval AB, and if f of A, okay, comma f of B, I mean that if fx is a continuous function in closed interval AB, then you can find out value of the given function at first endpoint, which is what f of A. You can find out value of the given function at second endpoint B. Why? Because closed interval involves they want first endpoint and last endpoint, that you know from the definition of interval there itself. Why? Because x is equal to A and x is equal to B. Therefore, one can take value of x to be A, value of x to be B. Therefore, this is what you have. And if f of A and f of B have opposite signs, then f of A and f of B have opposite signs, then let me write here, that is what if by f of A and f of B have opposite sign, that is f of A into f of B. Okay. How will this one? It is 1 less than 0. F of A and f of B have opposite sign, meaning thereby, okay, f of A into f of B is less than 0. Okay, then f of k is equal to 0. Okay, for at least, okay, for at least one k lies between, okay, A and B. Okay, that is what? That is what it was. That is f of k is equal to 0 for at least one k belong to open interval AB. This is what we mean k lies between A and B. This is what we call is as a location of root theorem. It means that if fx is a continuous function in closed interval AB, and if we have point A and point B, I mean there are two real numbers A and B, for which we can find out value of given function fx, and if f of A and f of B have opposite sign, then there exists at least one value, at least one k, which lies between one open interval AB, such that if I find out value of given function at k, it comes out to be 0. Okay, at least one means what? This value 1 or 2 or 3, whatever may be 1, it will depend on degree of fx, as we have noted here, an expression of the form. Okay, and that's why this is here. Now, whenever you can talk about what f of A into f of B less than 0, or f of A and f of B have opposite sign, meaning thereby when product of two real number is negative, okay, when the product of two real number is negative, you know that from first year BSc, okay, first chapter real number, okay, and product of two real number is negative. If either of the number is what? Negative, it means that f of A negative, f of B positive, then A into B is what? Negative. or f of b is negative and f of a is positive, then in that case also f of a into f of b is negative. Okay, therefore this the case here f of a and f of b, it gives me idea or it gives me the starting point of the solution of the given equation whenever we can go for the solution of that equation. Well, now along with this one, two things again you require to go for the solution of algebraic and transcendental equation, which are those one. Okay. The next theorem you can say here, it is nothing but what you have, mean value theorem, that you know, mean value theorem. Okay, what we call it as Lagrange's mean value theorem. Okay, and what it says that you know, okay, if what, if statement, if fx is number one, okay, continuous function on a closed interval AB. Number two, yes, derivable or what? Differentiable, derivable in what? Open interval AB, then there exists at least, okay, at least one C belonging to open interval AB such that what will happen, f dash of C, okay, is equal to f of B minus f of A divided by B minus A. This you know right from your first year BSc, the what statement of mean value theorem. Of course, I am talking about Lagrange's mean value theorem and not Rolle's mean value theorem. Three theorems in the first year BSc we have learned. Okay, which one? First one, basic theorem we have learned, that Rolle's mean value theorem. Second is Lagrange's mean value theorem, and the third one is Cauchy's mean value theorem. Out of those one, this mean value theorem, in other words, Lagrange's mean value theorem is applicable here. You need to apply one to solve the algebraic and transcendental equation, and that's why we have considered the statement of it one. Okay. Of course, we all of us know that what is the geometrical meaning of Lagrange's mean value theorem, Rolle's mean value theorem, and again Cauchy's mean value theorem. Okay. Hence, I will write here geometrically. Okay. What we have geometrically. I will write here note geometrically the root of an equation. Okay. What is by geometrically root of an equation? Therefore, geometrically root of an equation is, okay, is the value of x, okay, at which, what is happening? At which the graph of the function okay, say y is equal to fx, okay, intersects to what? X-axis. Okay. If function is what? Of variable x. If it is of variable y, then you can talk about the different thing. Okay. You need to what? Think over it one. Whether this meaning will be there or whether it will get changed. Okay. Geometrically, the root of an equation is, okay, root of an equation is nothing but what? Value of x at which graph of the function fx intersect to what? X-axis. This is what you can have the geometrical meaning. And here, if I take that one, this one, then you will find that geometrical meaning of derivative, as we had learned in first year BSc, it is nothing but what? Slope of the tangent to the curve. Okay, and therefore f dash of c is equal to f of b minus f of a divided by b minus a. Here the points are what? A, f of a, and b, f of b, and therefore slope of the line passing through 2 points, that you are getting f of b minus f of a divided by b minus a. Okay, therefore what you have, these three things you need to consider. And again, one more theorem that you need to go for it one. It is nothing but what? Taylor's, okay, Taylor's series or Taylor's theorem. Okay, this also you need to find out or to go for the solution of algebraic and transcendental equation. What it one? If f of x possesses f of x possesses all ordered continuous derivatives, all ordered continuous derivatives in an interval, okay, h, then fx can be expressed as, can be expressed in, let me write, in powers of x minus h, okay, as f of x is equal to f of h plus x minus h, f dash of h plus x minus h bracket square upon 2 factorial f double dash of h plus x minus h cube upon 3 factorial f triple dash of h plus so on. Okay, last but one term x minus h to the power n upon n factorial, and the derivative of x f at h, okay, and plus so on. This series, this is called what we call? It's called as Taylor series. Taylor series. Okay. After Taylor series expansion about the point Taylor series of f of x about h. All these things which we have considered here in this lecture are very much important one to go for the solutions of algebraic and transcendental equations, and therefore for the time being let us stop. In the next lecture we will see the methods of solving solving algebraic and transcendental equations.